on? Nice to see you. Nice to meet you.
All right now. Thanks for having me over.
All right, everybody. We got Keith Ellison in the building, Attorney General.
Hey, everybody.
Legend. A legend. I've been a fan for a minute now. I'm excited to be here, even though the conditions, the circumstances are not so great.
Yeah.
Even though I think Minnesotans are making the most out of it.
Well, we had literally, I bet you we had at least, I don't know what the numbers are, but as many as I've ever seen, even when the weather's nice.
Yeah.
Packed out there, standing up for their neighbors, demanding, ICE out, right?
Yeah.
And various other things. I'll just tell you, we filed a lawsuit against Kristi Noem about a week ago. We'll be in court on Monday morning and 9 a.m. Federal District Court in Minnesota, basically arguing that this Operation Metro Surge is unconstitutional, violates the Administrative Procedures Act, and these ICE, this dramatic escalation has just done tremendous damage to our state. So we're fighting them back, but I will tell you this, and I tell people this all the time. Of course, we're going to sue them and fight them in court.
Yeah.
But the people are how we win, and that is the thing. That's why I'm here. That's why I marched. That's why my wife joined me in the march. How you doing, honey? And and that's what it's all about.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think the way I see it is that Minnesota is just a testing ground.
You're so right.
And the fact that the people are pushing back, the fact that there's so much community organizing around ICE Watch, like making sure that they're monitoring people's activity out here, ICE agents' activity out here, documenting all the misconduct.
Right.
And also on top of that, protesting.
Yep.
I think anything that gums up the works, it's not just like the legal side of things, it's not just people like yourself, but it's also obviously the community itself, engaging in community defense. That is what is going to make it much more difficult for Trump to do this in Minnesota, and that's also going to cause them to think twice before doing it elsewhere.
Anywhere. Well, let me tell you, so do you mind, with your permission, hey honey, can you come here with the frog hat on? So this is my wife right here. She's wearing the frog hat.
Okay.
So let me just tell you. So this is Monica Hurtado. This is love of my life. How you doing, son? So she is wearing the frog hat. We got that from Portland, Oregon.
Oh wow.
So Portland is like teaching us a little bit how to push back.
Yeah.
So this is all cumulative. You get Portland, what they've done, LA, and because it's everywhere. This is their plan for everywhere. But I just thought I'd show off the latest fashion from Portland, Oregon to Minnesota. We're working together. Thank you, hon.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for that.
Yeah. No, of course.
Yeah.
It is so cold.
It's teeth rattling cold out there.
This morning I was in Los Angeles, and it's 70 degrees right now in LA. So I just swung 100 degrees in the opposite direction.
My goodness. Yeah, it's crazy
I walked
out there.
out of the plane this morning. The first breath that I took, it like shocked me to my core. Like I started coughing. I was like, what is going on? It's like, it's bone chilling.
It's bone chilling.
I don't know how you guys do it.
Well, right around March, we all say, I don't know if I can put up with this, and then the weather breaks, and then we forget all about how bad it was, and then we do it all over again next year.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I feel like this type of temperature is like supposed to happen in like Mars. You know what I mean? Like not, like I genuinely, before I looked it up, because we were coming over and they were like, oh, you got to buy like a lot of gear. And I was like, no, I'll just put on like 2 layers, I'll be fine. No, you definitely need more. But I didn't even realize that temperatures go down that much. I did not realize that at all. But the reason why I'm talking about that also is because like the fact that there's still tens of thousands of people on the streets in spite of this weather.
Right.
And we were marching and we saw grandmas, grandpas, we saw teachers, clergy.
Some kids.
Yeah.
A lot
kids,
of teenagers.
Yeah, kids all the way, all age ranges, incredibly diverse crowd, just Minnesotans, all different walks of life. It's very obvious that this is one of the many tools that we have at our disposal as the American population, but this is also something that the administration has to respond to and has to back away from.
Well, let me just say this about the diversity issue. It's, as you know, but I just want to share this, Trump is trying to tell us who are born here that the newcomers are a problem.
Yeah.
They're trying to tell all of us straight or even gay people, straight or gay, that the trans people, they're scary and are a problem.
Yeah.
They're trying to tell us, they're saying DEI is taking opportunity away from white men. You know, they're trying to say that women are getting too many opportunities. They have too many rights. They're messing everything up. They're literally trying to tell the people from the rural community that the urban people don't like them, and they're telling the suburban people that neither the urban or the rural like them. So what's my point? What's your point about the diversity? It absolutely is critical to our success, because what Trump wants to do is divide us all.
Yeah.
And if you can divide, you can conquer. And if you can conquer, the billionaires just get more billions for them and nobody else. So this unity that you expressed, it really is the functional way to succeed.
Yeah, solidarity.
Solidarity. So Lyndon Johnson, by no means am I saying he's perfect. What I am saying is he said, as long as you can convince the lowest white man that he's better than the best colored man, you can pick his pocket. That's the quote.
Hell, give him something to look down on. He'll open his pockets up for you.
That is what the man said.
He did.
And so this is instructive for us, because actually when you mention that diversity and that solidarity, it really holds the kernel of our success if we can overcome it.
Right-wingers always talk about, we got to protect our communities, high trust societies, all this stuff, and then they send the federal Gestapo over here to detain 5-year-olds and use them as bait. Crazy. As they're trying to trap their family members. Yep. And arrest them and possibly deport them. And then when the community actually does get together and say, oh no, we trust ourselves, we trust one another, we got each other's backs, they go, whoa, not like that. Right. They just don't like that. There's a different way that they want it to happen, I guess, like this community mindset.
That's so true. What they really mean is that they want community for them defined in a Leave It to Beaver 1950s format.
Yeah.
They don't mean all of us working together. They mean all of them of one color, one religion, one political viewpoint, one sexual orientation. You know what I mean? That's what they're talking about.
But you know what's really interesting about that? I feel like when you look at like the demographics of ICE agents in general, when you look at the demographics of like even some prominent right-wing, far-right figures now that openly say they're white supremacists and things of that nature, it's like it has ironically, because America's so diverse, they have become diverse as well. And for me, I always go back to this being a point of marketing for them. Some people are real believers, and many people are getting on board with that cause, no matter how nefarious and how dangerous it is. But I think the ultimate goal it serves is, just like you said earlier, is that through that division that you foment, through that enmity that you foment, where you make neighbor hate other neighbors, in that situation, the only people that are winning are the wealthiest individuals in American society.
Hey man, who was sitting behind Trump at the inauguration?
Yep.
You know, they were sitting there. It was a murderer's row of oligarchs.
Yeah.
You know, they all sitting there.
Yeah.
But Bezos,
Elon Musk,
Zuckerberg, Cook, all of them sitting there.
Notice a lot of those people that you just mentioned own social media platforms. They own newspapers. Jeff Bezos owns Washington Post. Elon Musk owns
X,
Twitter now.
Whatever.
And I refuse to call it X. I can't do it. I'm never doing it.
You know what? Good.
But and the reason why I bring that up is because they still play a formative role in fomenting this kind of discontent as well. Because there was a right-wing charlatan, I call him a slopaganda artist, that came around and took advantage of an already existing active court case that had started under the Biden administration's DOJ, and decided that like every single Somali person was actually responsible. They were all doing fraud, all this stuff, and Elon Musk, I think, greatly tweaked the algorithm on Twitter to lean into this. So true. And now, in the aftermath of that, Minnesota was shot and killed. Renee Good executed in broad daylight by an ICE agent. 3,000 Department of Homeland Security agents are roaming the streets, tear gassing people every day. And on top of that, the federal government has actually shut off funds to child care facilities all around the country.
Well, we sued them on that, and we're going to get them back open.
So that's the angle that obviously that's the power that you have as the Attorney
Yeah.
General in this situation. But it is also still important for people to show up and demonstrate, regardless.
Oh, that's the first thing. But so thank you for putting everything in proper context. What happened is that this slopaganda, that what you call it?
Slopaganda.
The slopaganda.
Yeah.
He comes up with this fallacious video trying
Yeah.
to say that all of the Somalis are stealing child care money. Completely untrue and a lie. He was debunked. By the way, he had video on December 23rd when most child care kids were home because their parents were home, right?
Yeah.
And so he was going on days that they weren't
Well, he
there.
also was like going up to child care facilities and demanding to see the children. Like
Right,
that's
right.
insane. Like
Actually,
you're a
dude,
pervert.
Thank you.
You're
no.
a pervert.
Yeah.
It's
You're
crazy.
A weirdo. So-
You're a weirdo. Of course, they're not going to open the door to you. If they did, they'd be liable. Like
Right,
they would actually
right.
be putting children in harm's way. Why would they do that?
We're mandatory reporters around here.
Yeah.
So anyway, they used that lie then to launch this this attack. And now what they're saying is, oh, we would gladly leave, but the local authorities are getting in our way.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's a lie, you know?
Yeah.
And we got to call it out. No, you started this. You came here attacking our state.
Yeah.
And now now you know that everyone hates you. And Trump is looking at the poll numbers and is like, oh, this was not good.
Yeah, he said that they're covering the ICE stuff too much. That's what he was saying. The mainstream media is like getting, they're covering the ICE stuff too much. He doesn't like it because it's like very deeply unpopular. One of the things I wanted to mention is that the Department of Corrections in the state
Right.
is cooperating with federal law enforcement when they have undocumented migrants that are in the custody of the state, right?
Yeah, it's a state statute.
And the Trump administration has been taking advantage of that to pad the stats,
Right.
to make it seem like they're actually, apprehending, rapists that they're finding on the streets. That's not ICE's function.
Right.
As the Attorney General, maybe you can also elaborate on this, but like, ICE is not a normal law enforcement agency. What I like to call it, they are supposed to deal with paperwork violations.
Yeah.
Because that's the difference between a documented and an undocumented immigrant. That's the
Yeah.
difference between a natural-born U.S. citizen or a U.S.
Yeah.
citizen and an immigrant in general, is paperwork. So back in the day, I'm 34, I'm old enough, maybe not old enough to remember this, but back in the day, ICE didn't exist, Department of Homeland Security didn't exist.
Right.
It was the INS.
That's right.
The function of the INS, the customs was different, Border Patrol was separate, and INS was separate.
Yeah.
Right? And obviously post 9/11 Patriot Act, like they really merged this
That's what happened.
into make it like this massive part of the surveillance apparatus
Yeah,
of the
so they
state.
took the military and the policing and
Yeah.
immigration and made this big
Yeah.
thing called the Homeland Security.
But the reality is, what ICE is tasked with is dealing with paperwork offenses. It is actually regular local law enforcement that handles criminal matters. They're the ones who catch the bad guys. They're the ones, and then you got prosecutors that prosecute them.
Right.
So this entire time, this is one of the things that I got very frustrated with. Like I was talking to Democrats as well during the DNC,
Sure.
during the election.
Right.
I was like, why aren't you guys responding to this? Why aren't you guys counter messaging against this kind of stuff? Because they're lying when they say, oh, they're letting undocumented migrants go when they do heinous crimes. That's bullshit. That's not real.
It's most of it is a civil matter.
Yeah.
It's not a criminal matter.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, man, your question.
And the criminal matter, if there's an undocumented migrant that's done a crime, then they serve the time, and if there's a necessity to deport them after the fact, then they do get deported.
Yeah, you better believe it.
Yeah.
But I mean, but that's why I really like the work you do, man, and because the truth about most politicians is that, we're not creative enough when it comes to communication. So when you say, why don't you guys do that? Well, you are showing people the way.
I hope.
People see, oh yeah, we can talk about that. And as a result, people know more because of your leadership. Free independent press, that's what you're doing, is indispensable to the moment that we're in. I guarantee you, these Republican congresspeople are not experts in communication like you are. They rely on people on their side who are and help them. And so, so thank you, and I'm so glad that you're doing what you're doing. We got to find way more ways for you to push that message out.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm sure that there's active court cases going on right now, so you can't elaborate on.
I don't mind
everything.
talking about them. I mean,
Okay,
there's certain
but
things I
whichever you
can't
can-
say.
yeah.
Certain things I can't say. Certain things I can say. I can say we filed over 50 lawsuits.
Okay.
I can say that we've started suing on birthright citizenship, empowerment, National Institute of Health. We've sued the federal government over them trying to tell us that our transgender kids can't participate. We've sued them over that. We've sued them over child care grants, SNAP benefits. And now we're going to court with them over this ICE stuff. I can tell you that I'm proud to do the work I'm doing. I'm glad to do it. I enjoy doing it, and it ain't enough. We need the free independent media like you. We need protesters like folks we're doing today, in the cold, or the hot. You know, all of that. And we need people to show up at elections.
Yeah.
And we need people. There's nothing we can leave off the table. I don't know if you know that dude. See the nerdy looking dude with the glasses?
Yeah, I saw him. Yeah.
Yeah, his name's Jeremy Messerschmidt. He's a off the chain great guitar player. We need the artists. Hey, Messerschmidt. So this guy.
We're live on Twitch.
We're live on Twitch. So this is Jeremy Messerschmidt.
What's going on, man? Hasan. Nice
Hasan,
to meet you.
this dude here can play the shit out of guitar. I mean,
so generous, thanks.
I mean, he can play that. He can play that guitar, bro. Like ain't nobody. But see, here's the thing, though, Hasan. He is using his artistic talent to try to highlight injustice, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we need. We need an aesthetic for this moment.
Yeah.
We were just talking about all the things that we need to win. We need lawyers, we need free independent media, we need artists, we need voters, we need all that stuff. So that's the only point I was making.
Yeah. And we need our politicians to also be out in the streets. So I really do
I
appreciate.
marched.
I really do appreciate that you're out here.
I'm not speaking today. I'm just listening.
Yeah.
And because I'm like, sometimes politicians need to shut the fuck up and listen up. You know what I mean? Sometimes, right?
Yeah.
And so, and let the singers sing and the speakers speak, and there's going to be people today telling their story. And I talked to a young woman whose dad and uncle are in ICE detention. So, yeah, man. But I don't want to hold you, Jeremy. I buy his.
Crash the stream. I'm gonna hit the stage in about 10 minutes or so.
I buy his records.
Can I make one pitch for artists out there?
Yeah, of
Make
course.
it.
Art is how we get the ideas of a better future into our heads and into our hearts and into our bodies. So if you're an artist out there, make your art, do your thing. It's great.
So he's not just a badass guitar player and a singer. He's actually really smart too. So go get him, Jeremy.
All right.
Yeah.
So in terms of legal avenues that you guys are pursuing, one of the questions I had was, I guess like you can tell me if you can't talk about this at all, but this is something that I've been wondering because like local law enforcement does play a role in protecting the citizens.
Yeah.
At what point does it get to a place where like the National Guard is deployed in an effort to defend the public against ICE? At what point do
that's happening now.
Yeah.
That's happening now.
Okay.
But I see
and
your
local
point.
law enforcement also participating in, especially after they were getting, like they had off-duty cops getting arrested.
Yeah,
or
man.
getting
No,
detained
you're right.
by
That's
ICE. Like at what point do local law enforcement say, hey, look, you know, we've had a tough go at it.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of clashes in the past. Hopefully there's been some reform. This would be a unique opportunity for local law enforcement to actually win back the community in a very big way. Do some community policing, if you want to call it that.
I sure agree.
By defending the population, defending the citizens, and also maybe even at times if they're doing trespassing ICE agents, if they're trespassing on private property.
So let me tell you something really important, because I don't want to run out of time because you're asking a great question. First, there is no legal barrier to investigate and charge ICE with a crime. There's no legal barrier.
Okay.
And what I'm saying is that
so it's unlimited. We can charge them with everything.
if you commit a crime in Minnesota, you are subject to investigation and prosecution.
Yeah.
So now, the problem is not legal. The problem is cultural, and the problem sometimes can even be logistical. So take the case of Renee Good. There's no reason in the world that Mr. Ross should feel that he's never going to have to face justice for what happened.
Yeah.
But the problem is that although the U.S. Department of Justice, Civil Rights has said we're not investigating your case,
Harmeet Dillon is too busy trying to charge Don Lemon. with the Klan Act on MLK Day.
She's got her hands full, I guess.
Yeah.
And you got 10 assistant U.S. attorneys who have quit
Yeah.
because they're like, oh, go investigate Becca Good, but don't investigate
Yeah.
any of this crime. So
One of the prosecutors was the one who also handled the initial fraud case, right?
yeah, sure was. Joe Thompson. So the thing is, and then they want to try to tell the state that they will not give us access to the investigative file.
Yeah.
So what we're facing is essentially logistical challenges,
Yeah.
but not barriers, right?
Yeah.
These are difficulties that we're managing. But I just want to tell your audience, maybe you should write a letter to Harmeet Dillon or somebody like that to say, look, it is completely unacceptable to have a woman shot down in the street by an ICE agent, and nobody is investigating the use of force death case. And you will not, and you're interfering with the state's investigation.
Yeah.
This is completely unacceptable. And it is immoral and wrong. So we're just gonna have a dead woman, and it's like nobody's gonna. They declared him innocent, and they won't allow the state.
Absolute immunity, said J.D. Vance.
Well, so J.D. Vance is absolutely, if we're gonna use the word absolute, wrong about that.
I would use other words, but okay.
right.
We'll
But
stick with that.
But it's shocking. Somebody who's a lawyer, Yale grad, completely wrong. Completely and utterly
That's
wrong.
when I see that. That's why I'm like, you know better.
Well,
He was a JAG lawyer.
Right.
Like, I guess that's not the best example.
but your point is right. I don't think he can use the excuse that he's dumb.
Yeah, no, he knows better.
He knows better.
Yeah.
So what he's doing is he's making ICE officers who may not know better
Yeah.
believe that they're invincible legally,
Yeah.
which is creating greater risk.
There was an instance where now administrative warrants are being used and abused. Administrative warrants are always being abused regardless, but now there's supposedly a memo that the Department of Homeland Security was distributing privately, quietly, until a whistleblower actually reported on it, where the Department of Homeland Security was telling ICE agents that they can use an administrative warrant to break down people's doors. That is illegal. That's unconstitutional. It's a violation of the Fourth Amendment.
But look, so they don't care. It's the American people's money, and they're indemnified. So, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But this is why a meaningful state investigation has got to happen.
Yeah.
And we've got to break the psychological barrier of saying, oh, these people wouldn't do that, therefore they don't have to face accountability. They have to face accountability just like everyone.
So the question I have for you is, once again, like, when that happens, and it's a very clear-cut criminal incident, like that is because if you are a member of a federal law enforcement agency and you are behaving in an illegal manner, in an unconstitutional manner, then technically at that point, like, sure, I guess you don't have qualified immunity, right? Like, there's no protection when you are violating the law. You're just violating the law.
You may have qualified immunity, but it's qualified, not complete.
Yeah.
So you can overcome it in a multiple of ways. If you talk about the supremacy clause immunity that an ICE agent may have, they have a shield if they were doing their job and they were doing what was necessary and proper to do their job. That's a summary. Is it necessary and proper to do what
break the doors down of a random American citizen's home with no judicial warrant whatsoever?
Right. So now they're facing liability for this, and but let me just tell you this: there's no legal barrier, and if you're an officer and you see somebody commit a crime, or that's what
I'm saying. Like, if you're a Minnesotan, right? If you're an American citizen, and there's ICE agents harassing you, there's ICE agents outside your door. They show you an administrative warrant. They say we're going to come knocking down. They show you that they do not have a judicial warrant signed by a judge. Right? Because that's the only thing that they can use to actually go into your home to search your home. A judicial warrant that isn't expired, that is signed by a judge, that will also have very specific guidelines of what you can search.
What they're looking for.
Yeah, you can't even like go into the home and like look at whatever you want to look at, right? Unless that's what the warrant allows you to do. So in that circumstance, if you call the cops, technically, domestic law enforcement should supersede whatever the federal agency is doing, right? Like legally speaking. A pure lawyer, I'm not saying you're advocating for this. I'm just saying.
I'm just making a legal observation.
Yes.
That if a crime is committed in your state, local authorities have the right to investigate that crime and prosecute it.
Yes.
And it's happened in American society.
Yeah.
I mean, here's one for you. So this predates the Constitution. How many kids studied the Boston Massacre? What happened there? Imperial British troops in Boston shot down and killed some people who were protesting British policy. Mm-hmm. Local Boston authorities prosecuted them criminally. John Adams represented some of the soldiers. 2 of them were convicted. Several others were not. So what's my point? Even before the Constitution was written, local authorities had the prerogative to enforce local law, even against the faraway authority from abroad. And I'll give you a more up-to-date example. The Ruby Ridge example. There was a guy named Randy Weaver, who was a white supremacist, and Randy Weaver, the feds wanted to arrest him for some illegal gun sales. They surround his house, something happens, and they shoot and kill his wife.
Yeah.
When that happens, the state of Idaho is going to prosecute the officer who made the shot, and the court ultimately finds that they're free to prosecute. Now, they didn't for their own internal reasons, but legally they were found to be free to do that. And there's other examples. So I just want to just say, I know it's sort of out of normal experience, but it is dangerous to tell officers that they can do anything they want. Yeah. That there's absolute immunity. And so I mean, I just think that your point is very well taken, which leads to a question. Some of your people listening might say, "Well, Keith, when are you going to do this?" Let me just tell you.
There's definitely saying that in the chat. I'm not going to lie.
Well, let me just.
I'm seeing them.
I want them to understand something. Let me explain, folks. First of all, prosecutors like me do not do investigation.
Yeah.
So if you've ever watched Law and Order, the show, first the police investigate, then they hand the file over. That's not make-believe, that's real life.
Yeah.
Let me also tell you this. In Minnesota, let me tell you, the Hennepin County Attorney has a portal open, accepting information, video and whatever, witness statements, involving the death of Renee Good.
Yeah.
That's happening now. My office is working in conjunction with them. We have a document, a memorandum of understanding, if you will, to assist them. So that's happening. But I know people want to see action quickly. But I would say to people, good, solid, defensible action is better than quick action sometimes. And so I'll just say, let people do their job. But I will also say, you've never seen me not do justice when I was supposed to do it.
Yeah.
And people can expect that I have not changed. So I'll leave it right there.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You got it, bro.
That was amazing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well,
hopefully I didn't stress you out too much.
Oh no, man. I like talking to you, man. You do a good job, man.
Oh, thank you. For me, look.
How do I stay in touch with you, man? Is that possible?
Yeah, I'll give your team my contact.
Good.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because you got a lot of. You're in touch with the youth of this country, and the not so youth either.
Yeah.
Right.
Why are you looking at your own team when you say that?
She's the youth. She's the youth. Have you hit 30 yet?
No, I'm at 27.
Have you hit 30 yet? So look, I could be, they're like pops or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're the same age as my daughter is, so.
Yeah.
Anyway,